Good morning and happy Thursday, everybody. I hope that you are doing well today. So we are winding up the week, and I hope that your week has been tremendously successful so far. So I wanted to come in this morning and speak from the topic that is actually a question. How do you see you? Apart from what everybody else thinks about you or has suggested about you, when you look in the mirror, what do you think about yourself? And not just physically, but when it comes to your abilities, your aptitude to accomplish great feats. How do you see you? I know growing up, our parents, they tell us who we are, and our friends, they give us their opinions and their thoughts about us. But when you are in a closed space and you are the only person in that space, what are your thoughts? So part of my testimony, which I'm not going to go into fully here, is I conformed for a very long time to what other people thought about me, and that drove my actions. It also kind of limited me because I saw myself through the eyes of other people. But then after I became into relationship with God, He began to show me who I was and what my abilities were. And once I began to grasp that concept of who He saw me as and who He had created me to be, my life, it began to change. And so I know that it's important for us to get feedback and insight from other people, but how often do we think about what we think about ourselves? How often? And so I know the way that I live my life now is I understand what my purpose is. I understand what my passion is. And I am building myself to a point that I can accomplish whatever it is that I set out to do. I am conscientious about what I give my time and my attention to, and about those who are allowed to speak into my life, and even those people that I choose to surround myself with. Because I talked the other day about usefulness in friendships and purpose and all of those things. And so you do want people around you who are sincere when they give you feedback. And what about when that feedback is not always positive, right? I think it's important for us to go and examine what is being said to us. And so there's this thought that is coming to me, and it says, to thine own self be true. And so in order to be truthful to yourself, you have to first know who you are, because people can walk into your life and they can say something to you, and sometimes it may offend us, or it may make us feel rejected. But when you know who you are, you know how to combat and reject things that are said to you that are not of substance and things that do not fuel you. And so what we want to do in this life is to be continuously building ourselves. So that's why it's important for us to have like a mission statement for our life, knowing where we want to go, and even understanding our strengths and understanding our weaknesses and those things that trigger us to react or respond a certain way, right? And I think that it's so important that we take time to retreat so that we can gather our thoughts, so that we can get rid of any thoughts that may not be serving us well, right? And so I believe that whenever we do these types of things, we become better all the way around, because we are mind, body, and soul. And it is so important for us to make sure that we are well in each of those areas. Now, I don't want to go too much into relationships, but when you start thinking about love and having a desire to be loved by people, it is very important that we know how to first love ourselves, because we cannot expect someone else to love us and if we don't love ourselves, because we might not be able to receive the love fully, or we might not understand the fullness of the love, and we may not be able to respond appropriately because of the barriers that exist within us, right? And so God, what he has done is he has defined us. He has created us fearfully and wonderfully. But you know, sometimes when we consider that, we know that he has done that. The word tells us that he has made us fearfully and wonderfully, right? But then sometimes there will be things that are standing between you and that truth. And those are the things that we need to eliminate from our lives so that we can fully embrace what it means for us to be fearfully and wonderfully made. And when we do that, it is so easy to reject anything that would try to put a smudge on how you feel about yourself. It will eliminate the impact of negativity that tries to come into your life, right? And so I love the journey of discovery of myself. And I encourage people to go on that discovery also, because we don't want to be up in age and looking back at our lives and wishing and hoping and having these regrets over things that we wanted to do, but we did not do because we were hindered by other people or by self-defeating thoughts, you know. So I want to just encourage you this morning to look at yourself and examine who you are. When you detach, like I said, you detach what everybody else has said about you. Who are you at your core? What are your weaknesses? And those are things that we really need to be sensitive about. Perhaps you desire, you know, more friendships or better friendships, or maybe you have some hardness in your heart, like sadness or hurt or unforgiveness. These are weaknesses. These things, they do weaken us, right? And so how do we deal with those things? And we have to be intentional about it. And no, you cannot be forced to do it, but you have to have your eyes open and believe that there is a better way. If you see that these things are impeding your ability to have healthy social relationships, they impede your ability to think clearly and well of yourself, we have to examine those things. And so I have a friend who was sharing the importance of feeding yourself positive things. And so we are exposed to so much stuff during the day on social media, in our workplaces, in our relationships, even in our minds. And so we have to, that's a whole journey in itself, trying to be well and trying to filter out any negativity, but it can be done. And so I want to encourage you to do that. And so a natural comparison of this is what we are taking into our natural bodies. Junk food, I was joking about that earlier this week. But, you know, just eating healthy and exercising, feeding our bodies, because we need our bodies to perform at optimal level. And so the same goes with our mind and our spirit. We want to feed our mind and our spirit great things, because we're going to reap like what we are eating. Like, yeah, you sow, and if you're eating healthy, you're going to get healthy results. If you're exercising, you're going to get positive results. But if you're constantly allowing things that are toxic into your ear gates and into your eye gates, and even speaking toxic and negative things out of your mouth, that's already an indication that there might be something going on the inside, and we need to be purged and purified, or take a fast for our lives, right? So we have to get to a place where we're okay with clearing up anything that would interfere with us being spotless or being, happy about what we see when we look in the mirror. And so we have physical mirrors, but we also have just self-reflection. And self-reflection is so very important. What's floating around in your mind? What's in your heart? What are in your thoughts? What's coming out of your mouth? Are you positive? Are you always criticizing other people? And so one thing that I notice in this world is we are very critical of other people. But what about ourselves? Do we ever look at our own self and see the part that we play in these things? And so we can't become so engrossed in what everybody else is doing and forget to, get our own selves into alignment. So how do you see you? Are you a positive person? Are you sometimes negative? Do you have some pre-existing issues that you need to deal with so that you can progress forward, so that your relationships can be stronger, so that your focus can be stronger, so that your thinking can be clearer, so that your speech can be clearer? And so I was thinking yesterday about how important it is for me to write, how important it is for me to be consistent even with the vlogs, because I have so many things that, God places upon my heart to share with people, and I have to be consistent, and I have to make sure that I'm not allowing the negativity, because I encounter negativity sometimes. I don't allow that to sit within me and become a part of me, and then when I come on to vlog, you guys are like, oh, something is wrong with her today. Something is wrong, and you can tell when you go into the office today, if somebody is having a bad day, it's going to come out. It's going to come out through their body language. It's going to come out through their interactions with people. They may say something that is not becoming or is not inviting. So we want to get rid of anything that is going to hinder us, anything that is going to keep us from living truly who we are. So to thine own self be true. What do you see about yourself that may need to be changed, that may need to be improved? How do you see you? Sometimes we go and we're asking people, well, what do you think of me? Well, what do you think about yourself? I think that I am wonderful. I now believe that I am very beautiful inside and out, and I walk confidently in that because God told me that I could do that. And so that's what I do. Do I have my moments? Yes, I do have moments where I might not want to be bothered. But I know how to deal with that, because I have to have a moment to myself. I have to be quiet, so that I can hear myself think. And so we need to make sure that we are honoring ourselves by spending time with ourselves and taking care of ourselves, and not allowing people to make you feel bad because you're not answering the phone, because you're not immediately responding to their Facebook post, or you're not liking it and all of this other stuff, right? But take time for you to be true to yourself and don't meddle in other people's business, and don't gossip about other people. People do that every day, meddling in other people's business and gossiping. There's no benefit from that. And so, stop doing it. Point blank. Okay, so how do you see you? I'm going to go, but I hope that you have a fantastic day. And I pray that this in some way blessed you on today. All right. Know that I love you. I'm thinking of you, and I want you to be well. Bye.